Ukraine. Wind howled through leafless trees and through the windows of the blown-out apartment building as the surveillance team marched up flights of stairs covered with broken glass. The cold numbed their fingers as they set up their equipment: a laptop-sized thermal imaging sight, its tripod and a Starlink satellite dish and battery. The job was straightforward. The small team of several men, led by an American known as Wolf, would be Ukraine's eyes on their battle for Bakhmut that night, huddling in the Soviet-style apartment and staring at the white and black glow of infrared images as it tried to identify Russian positions. In front of them was a panoramic view of Bakhmut, a city in Ukraine's east, mostly without power and devastated by 6 months of concerted shelling. Russian artillery strikes in the distance sent white flashes into the sky under a blood-red moon. Rockets arced on the horizon. One of the team members powered on the thermal sight and it whirred to life. He turned to his colleague who was fiddling with the satellite dish, trying to connect to the internet. "Comms green?" he asked. What unfolded over the next half-dozen hours was a routine but essential part of the daily rhythm of the war, part drudgery and part urgent calculation as the team ascertained the coordinates for enemy positions, relaying them to the Ukrainian artillery battery miles away. This type of mission, observed over the course of 2 days this month by reporters for the New York Times, was a window into how the war is being fought, a battle that is relentlessly violent but also technically sophisticated. At its core, the fighting for Bakhmut looks little different from a battle in the Eastern European steppes of World War II, armies committing troops, tanks and massive artillery barrages to capture ground. But Wolf's team, armed with a satellite hookup and a thermal optic that can see a person up to 5 miles away, quickly showed how much war had changed in the last 80 years. Driving in almost complete darkness behind a mud-stained van carrying the rest of his team, Wolf turned off his headlights as he reached the outskirts of Bakhmut. Before losing signal, he was informed by Ukrainian intelligence of at least one Russian Orlan-10 drone flying over the city. In the days past, he said, there had been many more of the lawn-mower-sounding crafts, but on this night, the low-hanging winter clouds were obstructing their visibility. Without the drones, he added, Russian troops would be unable to direct their own artillery fire. It was little consolation. The distant chatter of machine gun and cannon fire and the dull thuds of explosions were reminders that the fighting was close. The team is part of Ukraine's Foreign Legion, a unit created at the start of the war that has supplied thousands of international volunteers to bolster Ukraine's ranks. Wolf, a 29-year-old former U.S. Marine, came to Ukraine because, as he put it, "I'm a good Christian and it was the right thing to do." The other members of his team include a Ukrainian, the translator, a Canadian, a Briton and an Australian. No English, Wolf stressed before they left the vehicles. Many of the remaining residents of Bakhmut were already suspicious of foreigners, especially those with rifles. The Times is referring to Wolf and the other soldiers by only their call signs to protect their identity. After months of the Russian armies trying to capture the city, the fighting around Bakhmut, which had a pre-war population of around 70,000, has devolved into two main sectors, the south and east,